Good day, everybody. This is a Florida Golden Girl. Today's travel adventure takes me to the town of Lady Lake. Folks, we're going to be looking at a cemetery that's historic. We're going to be looking at Lady Lake Cemetery. The unique thing about this is that this cemetery was chartered in 1892. So it's considered a common burial ground for members of the community, but primarily veterans of previous wars. So it's going to be interesting what interesting markers we find here. So we have to drive a little bit ways, probably about half a mile or so. So we are in the middle of Retirement Village, USA. I'm just being sarcastic, but lots of retired veterans. So I am not with my sidekick today. So we're gonna see what interesting things we can find. Let's go. It's so hard to navigate and do things. A little bit of a drive-through just to give you an idea of what we're in for, and then we'll stop and see a few things. Presentation skills is not as polished as I wish them to be. We're gonna drive around this little circle here. Here and see what we can come up with. Oh. I don't care where I'm at, but I always take my valuables with me. Lock my car. Okay, folks, it's again, as I mentioned, it's freaking hot out. I'm not at my best. I'm here and I want to make the most out of my visit. Cause see, if my sidekick knew I was this far away, he'd have a fit. He didn't like me to travel so far, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. So this marker was dedicated on the 21st of May in 1988, dedicated to all veterans who served in the armed forces. God bless us all. And so you gotta cross, which is cool. Okay, so we had a bit of a drive-through. I see something roped off over there, so we're gonna... I'm trying to think, what is that? That's either somebody famous or it's a family. Whatever. Like nobody ever comes here. It's got that neglected feel to it. So Lady Lake is one of those super small towns where you drive a few feet and welcome to the next town. Okie dokie. So all of those look like they're all recent. So you have Charles Lindor, his wife Gloria at the time of this viewing is still alive. So this is Lisa Freitag. She died in 2019. So they have a little wind chime and a little nice area for her, which is cool. I'm looking primarily to see if there's any veterans. You have Federici. Both died in 1997. Both born in 1927 and died in 1927. So I don't know if they were twins or whatever. So here's our first veteran. He was from Korea. He died in 2002. Lots of ant piles. We are being careful. Vath Roeder, 2010 and 1917. You have another Korean veteran, George Melvin. He died in 2012. You have Mulan. Charles is still alive, and he was born in 1915, unless they'd never put his date of death down. Ricciardi. I think since I retired, it just seems as though people that I know are just like dying off like flies. Another Korean veteran here. There's a gentleman, he was a reserve brigadier general. And I don't want to give my opinion because it's kind of disrespectful. But he ran for, he retired, then he went, they say it's no colonel left behind. So normally that's something that we say that for somebody that goes from military to civil service just like that. For people like myself that you literally have to fight to get civil service, mostly officers, they have no problems, but I was enlisted. So it took It took some time. It took 4 years. So he goes in and he becomes 14. And then while he was civil service, he was also like, this was in Texas, so around San Antonio area. So he was, so he did like a council member or something like that, local council, something like that. And he did that, I think, for 1 term or something like that. And then he just, no more, Anyway, I find out that they're treating his death as a homicide because he evidently was beaten up a couple days before he died. I looked online to see if I could find anything about his death, and there's nothing there, which doesn't surprise me. So I don't know what's going on, but a former coworker did this, hey, how are you, blah, 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 did you know? No, in like, I think I've made my thoughts known on former coworkers who never bother to call. I've said it over and over. I don't care what they say. Once you're retired, they have no more use for you. For some, it's very hard. They dedicate their life to the military. I've seen officers where, they're needed and they're at their desk all the time. Sunday, while everybody else is relaxing, they're at their desk. Oh, the Army needs me. That may be. But then you see husbands that neglect their families and the wives. As soon as the husband is out, they not much longer they die, because the military was their purpose, their way of life, and they die, or the children don't want to have nothing to do with them because you were an absentee father. I see it all the time, and they won't listen. I don't know if I mentioned, there was a long time ago, this one lady, this is up in Virginia. She was one bitter lady. She was a commander's wife, so he died so he retired as a colonel. And she had all the connections. She was friends with generals' wives and everything, and she helped his career. And as soon as he retired, he says, I have no more use for you. I am divorcing your ass. That's what he said. He says, I have someone new. And he left her for a younger woman. And she was very bitter. And so my command, so he was, normally when you become the general of my command, of the command I've worked for the Army, that's like it. If you're like a 2-star moving to 3-star, and you move on to another command, you did something good, but that's your last stop. It's a career killer. I don't know why, but it's a career killer. So this guy, he was, he married college sweetheart. They had two kids. Both boys ended up going in the military. Great kids. That picture perfect life. But so he was up in DC, he hung out with Obama and et cetera, et cetera. And then he comes to San Antonio. Yep, World War II veteran here. Died in 1986. So then what happens is, they kind of find out that he was having an affair with a younger woman. And he wasn't going to give her up. They were doing each other for 1 or 2 years, and he got caught. So what happened was that she knew his his higher headquarters wife, the general. He was Army Material. So his higher level supervisor was a 4-star at Army Material Command in Huntsville, Alabama. And she's very good friends with that general's, at the time, wife. She told the wife, and she says, I need you to help me, blah, blah, blah. This is what he's trying to do to me. And as soon as the next day he got a phone call, he says, you need to pack your bags. You are relieved of command. And it made all the papers. You are relieved of your command, lack of trust, faith and confidence, etc., etc. And so he ended up staying, he got divorced, unconsciously uncoupled. That stupid phrase from Gwyneth Paltrow. And then he was up there for a couple years, and he got married to his side chick, who was in her 30s, and he retired. He lost 1 rank. So he went from 3-star to 2-star. And let me tell you, when that happens, she was the type that she's greedy, grasping. Okay, I don't know her personally, but I'm just guessing. So I think she's greedy, grasping, wanting to hang out with all the Pentagon officer wives clique. And nope, not going to happen. Homeboy, he married a younger woman. He was in his 50s. And so he was dyeing his hair. He was getting fillers in his face and trying to look all young, lost weight. Tried to look, you know how it is when a old dude marries a younger woman. He tries to make himself look appealing, etc., etc. So this is an early grave right here. John Lawson, born in Sweden, died at Lady Lake, 1922. This is the oldest grave I found so far. So, yeah, I was like, oh, snap. So this person was born in Constantinople, Turkey, died in Lady Lake in 1897, and he was 20 years old. So this is the oldest grave right here. Isn't that beautiful, the way that's all swirly and stuff? And then James Dort died in 1924. So, yeah, I'm not going to say the name, but yep. And here's another one. Somebody by the name of Cross died in 1908, age 69 years. Gone from our home, but not from our hearts. And then you have Ivan. They were only a couple days old when they died. It's a baby. Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, it's amazing. The things you find. Yeah, so that it was very sad to find out, that this guy was murdered. He wasn't a bad guy. He was a nice guy. So the Hoppers, Candace died in 1932, and Calloway died in 1945. So the Williams Clyde died in 1951. And then you have the Moore Williams here. So this looks like this is a little bit of the older section. We'll see a few more and then we're going to call it a day. It's just getting too hot, folks. So they died in 1902. Here's another older grave. They died from 1843 to 1917, Mary A. Wilson. James Klein, 1857 and 1934. Mary Wilson Klein, 1888. Yeah, that's the earliest grave right there. The one I said was the earliest grave is not. And that's going to do it for today's video. We certainly have some interesting chats, don't we, guys? You listen, I run my mouth. Anyway. No Civil War veterans, couple of Korean veterans, that's about it. I've checked a few. I could go all the way back, but it's just so freaking hot. And it's like 103 degree heat index. And when you're old, you just can't be out in it long. And I've already went to one, and this is the second one, and I gotta call it a day. But it's sad. But yeah. But this is Lady Lake Cemetery. I don't know who maintains it, but it's, like I said, I think it's an afterthought, which is a shame. It's not neglected, but it's not like super kept up on some cemeteries we've seen in previous videos. And speaking of previous videos, if you get an opportunity, go check my other ones out. I got a ton out there. And if you get an opportunity, like, subscribe, click on the notification bell to let you know when a new video will be uploaded. Tell a neighbor, tell a friend. Through word of mouth how my channel grows. I appreciate you all. Thank you for watching. And so long for now.